record, as we always record these meetings. So I did actually have a request from one teacher about a particular topic, and I didn't write down which teacher asked these questions, but somebody was asking me about recruiting students for a school production, how to do auditions, how to organize the play during the school year, at the beginning of the school year, and all of that kind of thing. Is
That's
that person here today?
I'm here.
Patricia.
Yeah,
Or was it Patricia who was
yeah,
asking?
I asked that. Yeah.
So I thought that was a really good topic
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
as well as I'm sure we'll be playing some drama games because we always do. But I know that there's several people here who are involved in school productions quite regularly and have to combat or deal with those kinds of issues. So let me just summarize what Patricia said. So she said, how do you recruit students at the beginning of a school year and retain them until the end? That's a great question. How do you make an audition? Should you tell them to prepare scripts? Should you make an audition at the beginning of the school year, even if you don't know what the play will be about? These are really good FAQs, actually. Then what she explains that she's had a mixture of very responsible, committed students and also irresponsible and unreliable ones who don't show up on the day of the performance. So everybody has to improvise. And that this is obviously very stressful for the drama teacher. So if those issues ring bells with anybody, can they wave their hand at me or give me a thumbs up? Okay. Interesting. So everybody else seems to have the organization of those things sorted out.
No, not quite. Not quite. The school production I will have to do is the drama festival. And the school is quite, unfortunately, I don't actually have to follow up on the kids who don't turn up. Because they're all Chinese and the parents don't speak English, blah blah blah. So I'd have to do.
Sorry, Josie, can I just pause for a moment? I think Amy shared her screen.
Oh, okay, okay.
Which is possibly a mistake. Could you unshare your screen? That's it.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
That's all right. Let's go on. Could you start again for me, Josie? Because
sure. So the kind of production I'm doing is for it's called the Drama Festival in Hong Kong. And I'll be doing one of my own plays that I wrote ages ago called Puss in Boots. So I know what I'm doing. I already told them what I'm doing. And they will help me to audition the kids, but I will be the main person to audition. So that's a really great question. However, I'm fortunately not in charge of getting the kids there and making them come. Although I will say, oh, so-and-so is not here. Can you find out why they're not here? I would have to do that, but I don't actually phone the parents because they all speak Chinese and I don't. So that's quite good for me, in a way, because that takes away one thing I don't have to do.
Yep. Okay, so thanks for that, Josie. For those who have just joined, we're talking about how you organize groups of students to put on a play at school and the issues that you can get when students don't turn up, and also how you organize auditions. Patricia, I've summarized what you've said. Is there anything you would like to add to that or tell us a bit more about the situation?
Yeah, well, my concern was that it happens to me that at the very beginning of the school year, I never know what the play is going to be about. So I created together with my students, but it's not a very pleasant feeling when you don't have control of everything. So I would like,
okay, so
I mean,
Well, I think that is going to be a problem if you've got if you're putting on a script and you've got particular characters allocated to particular students, then that's obviously going to be an issue. I mean, one thing you could possibly think of is actually having standby actors who can, you know, especially for lead roles, that maybe you have backup actors just like they do at theatres who can step into onto the stage. But I think that's probably a luxury that nobody here has the time for. The other thing that comes to mind is that if you were doing devised theatre, then it could be that roles were much more interchangeable. So those, you know, I'm a big fan and I always have devised theatre. And this means that the whole group, in a way, takes responsibility for the production rather than the danger of it falling onto individual students' shoulders. Yeah. And so, for example, you know, you can do a lot of chorus work. You can have things like more than one student playing a character. This is quite often done by schools, I think, where, for example, you might have a token hat or something, and that particular character always wears that red hat. So any student who's wearing that hat is the character. Then,
Yes.
for example, you might have six. I've seen this as well. I've seen, you know, 6 students playing the same role at different times during the play. And then, of course, if one of them doesn't turn up, you know, hopefully the other ones would be able to cover.
All right. Yeah. So
Does anybody? What does anyone think about that?
I think it's a great idea.
You mean like distributing the same role to a few students?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I think another reason that schools often do that is that it is really hard for one student to learn a central role, you know, especially if you're talking about Hamlet in Shakespeare or Romeo and Juliet. And it does a number of things. So first of all, it gives more of an ensemble feel to the production, like we all own the production. Secondly, you know, in terms of absences, it could help. Another reason is that it gives more democracy in that more students get a chance to play an important role. So I think all those reasons are quite good. And although it may seem strange if you've never seen it, it definitely works.
I've seen.
And I sometimes work as an adjudicator for a drama festival. And when I do that, I go and I see probably 10 to 15 productions in a day.
Wow.
By young people. Each of those lasts for about 10 to 15 minutes. And it's quite a common method. Another advantage of it is that it means that you have different people's take on a character. So one Hamlet might be quite, you know, male and strong. Another one might be more towards the feminine, you know, and you can do cross-gender casting quite easily in that way. It's really can make it really fun. And those students then don't have the stress themselves and maybe getting ill and not turning up for rehearsals, you know.
Yeah, that's a very good idea, actually. I've never thought of it. Like a very short thing could be seen from different perspectives and played from different points of view, like the thing that we did in a sad way, in a happy way, in a melancholic way, but with maybe different, not moods, but different characters' point of view. That's a great idea, actually. It could be a very short scene.
One of the games that I played at the workshop in Dublin that I was talking about is actually also in this book. Let me try and get it on. Yeah, Drama Game for Exploring Shakespeare. So this is a new book which is written by Alana Beacon, and it's published by Nick Hearn Books. I don't know if you've got these in your country, but in the UK, there's about 10 of these books, and they're all about drama teaching, and they all have different themes.
I don't know that one.
But this one in particular, I know very well because I worked with the organization who produced it, and they're called the Shakespeare Schools Foundation.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there. So some years ago, probably about nearly 10 years ago, I worked with them and I introduced some games and activities which are in this book. And then
what's it called? Sorry, David.
so it is called Drama Games for Exploring Shakespeare. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, one of the games in that, and I have to say that a lot of these are based on this ensemble approach. So I think that's partly, why I'm thinking of it. There's a game called One Line Express, and it's a little bit difficult to play here, but I can describe it. So what you do is you take a play by Shakespeare, or it could be a number of plays, and you cut out lines, or you photocopy and then cut out individual lines. And say I had 38 people on Saturday, and each one of them had a different line from a Shakespeare play. So it might have been "The king doth keep his revels here tonight," or it might have been "The play's the thing wherein we'll catch the conscience of the king." So they were all very different and varied. Right, I'm going to get to the point of this. So I'll explain the game and then I'll talk about what the point is in relation to what Patricia is talking about. So everybody has a little slip of paper with their Shakespeare line on, and it doesn't matter who has what line. And you then lead a number of activities for them. So they spread out in the space, and each person reads their line and slowly walks around the room, just whispering it to themselves. So they're just going, "The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king." And they all just whisper the line. They get used to the words. And it doesn't matter if they don't understand the line completely, or, if there are words on it they're not sure about, they try to pronounce the words. Then basically you lead them through a number of different ways of speaking a line. So I would do things like speak the line as though you are telling a child a bedtime story. And imagine an invisible child in front of you. Kneel down and tell that child a story, but you can only use the line. So if I had the line I was mentioning, I might go, "The play's the thing wherein we'll catch the conscience of the king," and it might be that they do that for a while. Then you could say, one of the things I do is like you're selling goods on a marketplace. So they're going, "The play's the thing wherein we'll catch the conscience of the king." Great. And everybody's doing that, or they could be secret spies. They could, run around the room and find a spy and whisper a secret message to them. You know the game, that kind of thing. So you just choose lots of different characters. And then it leads into, you ask them to choose one word in the line and to make a gesture to go with it. So, for example, "The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king." I might choose catch and I might make that gesture. And then you encourage them to say the line with that gesture. "The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king," So everybody chooses their own gesture. They walk around making the gesture and so on. Okay. So there's loads of other things that you can do with this. And on our Inspiring Drama Teacher course, those of you who are members, that game is there. And I've called it Words, Words, Words. So it's got a slightly different name, but you can find it, and maybe I'll share my screen and show it to you. Let me just do that. So I'll just find that. So while I'm finding that, if I can try to multitask, what I'm doing, the reason I'm talking about it is, no, I can't multitask. The reason I'm talking about it is that it gives everybody ownership of those lines. So the lines are randomly distributed and different people will be speaking them. And it just means that the whole group is involved with that play. The whole group get a chance to speak those lines in different ways. So let's see if I can find this game for you and show you what a little bit more of it. Words. Here we go. I say here we go. I haven't found it yet. It's always the way, isn't it? Just typical. The thing. Oh,
there it is.
Yeah. Okay. Words. So there you go. We actually played it on this in one of these meetings before. So there you go. There's the different ways that you can speak the lines, like a magic spell, like you're playing with a toy, like you're a member of the royal family, like you're looking for a friend in a thick forest, like you're a really bad actor, like you're having a row with your best friend, like you're a rapper. Then the best thing about it, it's kind of quite involved and it takes ages to teach, but it's really fun and people love it. The last activity that you do is you get everybody to spread out in the space and close their eyes. And then as the teacher, you walk round and you tap people randomly on the shoulder. When they are tapped, they have to speak their line as they think the character might speak it. And so everybody's got their eyes closed and they just hear different lines coming from different places around the room. And then occasionally they will have to speak their line. And you can make these overlap. So you tap one person on the shoulder, they start speaking, you tap someone else on the shoulder, and so on. Yeah. Now, that is just an example of many, many ensemble theatre games that you can play. So going along with that model, Patricia, and for those who've joined recently, we're talking about how you can keep children committed and involved for a school production. So just, for example, it could be a lot of work if you haven't done it before, but you can devise your own shows. You can take a story, you devise the performance, and when you do that, you will find that the students are committed quite strongly to making it work because they get to use all their own ideas to tell the story. And of course, children can be and should be very imaginative. So you'll end up getting a load more ideas than you might otherwise have thought of yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So I've talked for a long time about that. Would anybody else like to come back and make any comments? I'm reading the comments that people have written here as well. Okay, Vanessa said about writing, having a written contract as a group and asking each actor to sign it at the beginning of the process. That's nice. Yeah. People often talk about having a drama contract, which can be something that is not just about performance, but it's about understanding how to value each other's offerings in the drama studio, having respect, being creative, knowing when to listen to the teacher, and all of those, the normal kind of things that you expect. And Jim says that he's done a similar thing to what we were talking about with having 5 or 6 pupils. Jim, do you want to tell me something about that? That sounds good. Let me know how it worked for you.
It was actually quite good because it takes a bit of pressure off, students learning that, like as you mentioned before, and they can enjoy it. And like I said, just make it clear by making sure. For example, I did talk a lot about Shakespeare, so I'm going to embarrass you. I just did King Arthur, the Holy Grail from Monty Python.
Oh, brilliant!
I took about 5 or 6 or 7 scenes, appropriate scenes, because none of them are really appropriate for lower secondary. And I just gave a different role. So the girls doing it, boys doing it, everybody had their fair share and take on the role. Yeah, and it worked out quite well. And of course, you're always worried about the lead actor before performance. And this way, if something happens, the worst thing is just like one scene, you're getting somebody in there and reading that person's part. That's the worst thing that could really happen in that case.
Yeah.
Now that sounds really good, and that's the kind of theatre that I really enjoy seeing. Or I mean, other forms of theatre are valid and brilliant, but I like that kind of theatre because it is suitable for young people. It really engages the imagination of them and the audience at the same time.
Yeah, and also makes it, like you said, it shares out the roles. You're in a situation where you want to avoid what might be seen as favoritism or things like this,
Yeah.
And so you're sharing out the roles. It's much more democratic process as well.
Yeah.
See somebody who has a smaller role somewhere else, well, we're going to give them that role there. We're going to split up this role. Yeah. So it's actually be 2 different people instead of just one person. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask you, Jim, did you also, did the kids not, as you said, one scene or something, so did they switch roles? So did one kid do one scene and do a different role in a different scene?
Yes, as well. But those are minor roles, basically. But
Yeah.
But there were also where the major role was, of course, King Arthur there. Yeah, and so that was shared amongst 5 or 6. But they would also take on minor roles as well. Yeah, just get them, making sure the costume was very important and what they were doing.
Yes.
Of course, they would have to act differently in that role. They could be acting as King Arthur in that. Yeah.
Yes.
Interpreting it in their own way. Okay.
So yeah, I would recommend having a look. Some of these games are great, and they really encourage that ensemble approach. There's one game that I really like, which is called what's it called? Imaging the Speech. That's what I call it anyway. Imaging the Speech. So what you do is you take a speech. Let's stay with Shakespeare for now. Or it can be anything, but let's use that for now. And you basically say you've got a speech which is 16 lines. You might divide that into 4 sets of 4 lines, and then if you've got the right size group, you could have 4 different groups, give each of them 1 set of 4 lines, and then their job as a group, let's say there's 5 or 6 people in each group, they have to bring those lines to life through speech and movement, and they don't have to act the lines out as though they are the person speaking them. So, for example, full fathom 5, thy father lies. Those are pearls that were his eyes. Ariel's speech, Ariel's song from The Tempest. So you would have to demonstrate this with a group first of all, but you'd ask them to take a line and let's say full fathom 5, thy father lies, right? And ask them, what do they think is the most important part of that line? So let's just ask anybody here. You can shout it out or type it into the notes, whatever you like.
Fathoms, I think.
Fathoms, okay. Any differing ideas to that? Full fathom 5, thy father lies. So it's all about Ariel saying that is it Fernando's father is lying under the sea, when in fact he isn't. So they would choose they choose something key. So let's say they choose fathoms, and then they have to find a way as a group of making a piece of movement for that line. So they might do things like going, full fathoms 5 thy father lies, you know. So they're finding ways of to physicalize the speech, and they do that for each line, and they do it as a group. So you might have, for example, some people doing fathoms as they dive down into the sea, and somebody else might be doing this for thy father, for example, and they make a little piece of group movement. In fact, this is very close to what I was wanting to do with everybody today in breakout rooms. So I think that's what I'm going to do with you. More specifically, so that's one way of doing it. Another activity that I tried out on Saturday in my Dublin workshop is called Poem Machine or Poetry Machine, and it's really nice. So just park that idea in your head for a moment, and I'll describe this game, and then we're going to go and play it for those who want to in the breakout rooms. Okay, so has everybody here played a drama game called Machines?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like some people know. So some people are saying no, and that's fine. So Machines is like one of the oldest drama games there ever was. You know, it's a game that I probably might have played it when I was at school. I've certainly played it when I was a drama teacher back in the 80s when I started, or late 80s. So it's been going for a very long time. And what happens is with the Machines game, you explain to everybody, we're going to make a machine. And different people from the circle, we're all in a circle, can step in and make a repeating sound and action. So somebody might step in and go, ba-chum, boom, ba-chum, boom. And they just keep repeating that with the sound. Somebody else comes in and they join in with that. So I'm doing this, ba-chum, boom. Somebody might come in and go, and synchronize it with what I'm doing. So you end up with a group of people making a machine. So that's the origin of this game. And don't forget, it's called Poetry Machine. So with Poetry Machine, the idea is that you could start off by demonstrating this with, say, 4 students, and you give them a line. For example, 4 fathom 5 thy father lies, okay? And each of them is given a phrase or a couple of words. So the first one would probably have full fathom 5, okay? It's got to make sense. And the second one might have thy father. The third one might have lies, all right? I'd probably have to find another line that was a bit longer to involve 4 kids, but let's say we've got 3. So each of them has to think of a repeating movement to do with those words. So the first one might be going, full fathom 5, full fathom 5, for example. The second one might be going, I don't know, thy father, thy father. Okay. And the third one might be going, lies, lies. I hope you can imagine that there's 3 of me all doing this at the same time. All right. So all 3 of me are doing that at the same time, and we're all trying to link with each other to make it look like some kind of machine. So that in essence is a poetry machine. And funnily enough, the game is sometimes also called Essence Machines. But this is a very particular version of it called Poetry Machine. And I think we could all have a go at it, because I've talked for ages now, and I want you to go and do something and have some fun together. So I did think of a line that I'm going to give you to play with. And let me just get this line. But if you don't like it, you can choose your own line, by the way. Okay. I need to check on my computer. There we go. Oh yeah, let me get this. Okay, prizes for guessing which Shakespeare play this is from. I've just put it into the chat. Oh, I like all what people have been doing in the chat. Father, fathom lies. But yeah, okay. So do you see that line? It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Now that's a brilliant line because it's got so much in it. You know, if you were giving that to a group, they could break it up in lots of different ways. So you could have it is a tale told, or you could have told by an idiot, full of sound, or full of sound and fury. Do you see what I mean? It could be used in lots of different ways. Vanessa, is that right? Is it from Macbeth? Because I've temporarily forgotten. Vanessa says yes. So
I'm like pretty
yeah,
sure it's one of my favorite quotes, so I hope I'm right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I'm going to go with that. We're going to say it's Macbeth, and somebody will have Googled it before long.
I did.
Right. So if I divide you randomly into groups in the breakout rooms, you could go and meet each other and work out a way of saying those lines as a poetry machine. So the way you do that, let's imagine, because obviously you can't actually be in the same room, but you might have, for example, 4 of you in a group, and each of you take a part of that and find a way of saying it and making a movement with that part, but also thinking about how you would link with others. And it doesn't have to be in order. So you could have bits of it overlapping and so on. Any questions? Okay. Well, I'm going to randomly put people into groups, and I know some people haven't got their cameras switched on, but so let's see. If it doesn't work that I do it randomly, I will move people around in groups. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I'm going to make 3 groups and see what happens. Okay, so here we go. Get ready for it. And you're going to have a good 5 minutes or so. I'll probably pop in to see how you are getting on with it. And let's see. Oh, we've got another couple of people switch their cameras on. So I might make 4 groups and see how that goes. And you can go to your groups.
Hello, morning.
Hello, Krista. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Are you hearing me?
Yeah. So
yes.
everybody has gone into breakout rooms, which is why you can't see anybody.
Yes, I realized. As soon as we were going to into the breakout rooms, my internet disconnected me. So
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put you into a group now because I can see a group that has only got 2 people in it. So I'm going to
okay, no
send you there
problem.
now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
You were saying, what do you have a suggestion to make?
Well, yeah, so I guess there's 3 of us now. So it's a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, simplifying nothing. So yeah, so I guess who wants to take which line, or
Yeah, we have to distribute it. The 3 of us. No, David is not with us, or no? David, you're not with us.
No, I'm just watching, and
You're just observing.
you might be having somebody else joining you because somebody
Okay.
joined late. But
okay.
so carry on with the 3 of you for now.
Okay.
Okay. So will we just Patricia, would you like to take the first line maybe, and then
The first, it is a tale told by an idiot.
yes, yeah, perfect. And then do you want me to take the next one, or?
Yes, would you like to take the next
Okay,
one?
I'll go full of sound, and if we get a 4th person, they can take and fury maybe. I'll take full of sound and
Okay.
fury for now. And then if you want to take then signifying nothing.
Okay.
It would be
Okay.
interesting here. Each culture has different gestures. For example, for nothing, maybe you have a different gesture. If
Yeah.
we were to use what we use in our everyday life, or are we using different sort of movement? What would you suggest we do?
I'd say you can use movement, you can use gesture. It's completely open.
Okay.
So it could be like you're acting the words. But what we're probably looking for at the most is some kind of emotional expression,
Okay.
which
Okay,
involves
so-
your body.
All right.
So
Patricia, do you want to just go for it?
I would say, yeah, just try some stuff out, and I'm going to leave you to it so you don't feel like I'm watching you. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Let's see.
Right. Okay. So it is a tale told.
Hi.
Hi there.
We lost a group member.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just the both of us.
I
as
don't
of
know
now.
if she lost the connection or not. And then I was just welcoming Lakshmi.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
And I think Zlata may have joined late, which is why she. Anyway, yes, I would say work with what you've got, which is just,
Okay.
even if it's just 2 people, you could still try something. For example, you could each have 2 parts.
Okay. I think Sarah is frozen now. It's just me.
Yes. It's not ideal circumstances, is it? Right now.
Yes. Yeah. So hi, David. Like I just joined yesterday to this course actually.
Of course you did, yeah.
Yes. I was like, and it just happened that today is a Zoom call. So yeah. So I'm pretty new to what's going on over here.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Everybody's like.
That's
Yeah.
I'm glad that you were able to join, or to come to the Zoom the day after you joined. That's really
Yeah.
So where do you live in India?
No, I live in Hong Kong and I teach in Hong Kong.
And where are you from? Because Lakshmi
I
sounds
am from
like
I
Indian.
am from India, but then
Yeah.
I'm settled in Hong Kong for the past like 20 years now.
Yeah. Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Sorry, I
I'm
lost
having
my connection somehow.
yeah.
Yes. Welcome back.
Hi.
I was just saying that you can basically, you just have 2 of you, so just work out a way of making some movements to go with some of the speech. Did you start doing that
Okay.
already?
No, we were
No.
just introducing ourselves.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah. Well, carry on. I'm going to go and
Okay.
visit some other groups. And I was saying,
Sure.
Okay.
basically, you know, if you want, you could just do part of the line, or each of you could have
Okay.
2 separate parts, however you want to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll leave you to it and I'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
But
Thanks,
nice
David.
to
Thanks,
meet you,
David. Thank
Lakshmi.
you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Did anybody in this group manage to work together? Or maybe not.
Yes.
Yeah, we
You
had a
did?
lot of fun.
Yeah, so you've got some ideas, have you already?
Yes.
Yes, we do have.
Oh, excellent. Good. I thought you'd all run away because you had your camera switched off. But
No, we just finished.
yeah.
So,
Okay. So right, so you worked out some movements.
Yeah.
Would you like to show me what you've done so far?
it is a tale told by an idiot.
Full of sound and fury. Signifies nothing.
Excellent. That's really nice. What I quite like, so I'm immediately want to be a director when I hear you do this. So what I think would be really nice, because Anelia, you have a slightly longer part. You've got you are saying it is a tale told by an idiot, which you could break up into 2. And I'd quite like to try kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. So you could have like, it is a tale, and then hold the next part of it. And Norma, what was the part you said?
I said full of sound and fury.
So you could have, for example, it is a tale full of sound of fury. And then you could have told by an idiot, signifying nothing. Do you see what I mean? Just to kind of play around with it, really. And kind of like, because it's so hard to do something that's an ensemble on Zoom, just trying to find ways of kind of like, yeah, making it more intermeshed, I suppose.
Okay, it is a tale
Full of sound and fury.
told by an idiot.
Yeah, Shalini, that's great, but you forgot that you switched your sound off. Shalini, you accidentally muted yourself. Okay, so I think that would be good. And also, you know, what you can do in this is you can kind of echo words as well. So you don't have to shut up when other people are speaking. So, you know, so you can have it is a tale and full of sound and fury. It is a tale told by, you know, just to kind of like a kind of chorus. Do you see what I mean?
So
Just
all of us together?
Yeah, just to kind of like, yeah, make it more like a piece of music almost, with interlocking themes that kind of move in and out of each other.
Okay.
Just go for it and, you know, see what happens.
It is a tale
Full of sound and fury.
told by an idiot.
Full of sound and fury.
That's
Not
By an idiot. Told by an
by an
idiot.
idiot.
yeah.
Told
I think okay,
signifies
that is brilliant. Okay, that I think is much more interesting. The only thing that is lacking, because we're on Zoom, everybody's kind of like in this little box, and all we're seeing is like a head moving around and maybe a couple of hands. So if there's any way to magnify your movement by moving away from the camera, for example, or just doing a bit more than, you know, that's it. So kind of like exaggerating it all. Yeah, but I'm going to leave you now, and I'm going to go back to the main room and then invite everybody back. So you can have a practice while I go, and then we'll see what everybody has done. All right. So I'll see you in a bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I forgot. Okay. All right.
Hello, hello, and welcome back. Just before we share what we've been doing, even though we know it is just work in progress, I'm just going to put something into the chat, which is the title and the authors for that book that I've been talking about.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to order it, I think, because I will be doing 2 Midsummer Night's Dream productions this year.
Okay, that sounds like desperation there.
No, I think I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah.
By the way, Lakshmi and Josie, I want to introduce you to each other because you are both based in Hong Kong.
Oh, Lakshmi. Oh, gosh. Hi.
Yeah. So Lakshmi joined the course yesterday.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, that's really
Fantastic.
okay. So I managed to visit 3 groups, I think, and I think everybody will come up with something different. And let's just have a look. Let's just go through. I'm going to go through the groups in the order that I've got them on my breakout room menu, which is the first of all, Lakshmi, Sarah Jane, and Zlata. And I know there were some connection problems, but just let's see what we can do. So those 3 keep their cameras on. Maybe everybody else could switch their cameras off so that we can concentrate on what they're doing.
Okay.
Lakshmi, you need to unmute yourself.
All right, so it's just me and Sarah, so I'll begin. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I don't know if it's right, but yeah. So it's a tale told by an idiot.
Full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Okay, yeah. So no, that's good. And obviously on Zoom, you did try to move a bit, but it's quite difficult to kind of like have big movements. But that's kind of the principle of it. Let's have a look at some other groups and then talk about it in general. But yeah, obviously that was limited with the 2 of you, but well done. And let's go to group 2, which is Amy, Jim, and Josie. So the others could switch themselves off. And Amy, Jim, and Josie. There
Can we start?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's us.
Hermia.
I'm sorry. Can you start again?
Can we start again? Okay, yeah.
Hermia.
Do not be so bitter with me.
I evermore did love you, Hermia.
Okay, great. All right. Now that's nice. And it's nice that you chose a different speech. Really nice. Okay. So let's go to group 3 next, please. Which is Anelia, Norma, Shalini. Anelia, Norma. Yeah, we got Norma. Shalini, I think her connection is slightly slower, but she's here now. Make sure, Anelia, you unmute yourself. Because now that we can hear you, oh, I hope we can hear you. Unfortunately, Anelia, you are not audible anymore, which is strange because we could hear you earlier on. Oh, now I can hear you.
Lovely. I don't know what happened. This is a tale
Full of sound and fury.
signifies nothing.
Sound and fury.
This is a tale. This is a tale.
Okay, so yeah. So well done, that group. So when I visited that particular room, what I was suggested to them is that they could overlap parts of the speech, which is what they were doing there. And they could break the speech up a little bit, and that it doesn't have to be in the right order. Yeah. So it becomes a bit more like a piece of music, that you can just have different things interlocking, coming in different order or repeating again, and so on. So that was great. Thank you. And let's have a look at the last group, Anna, Patricia, and Vanessa.
It is a tale.
Anna, you are muted.
Okay, sure.
Start again.
Okay, yeah, okay.
It is a tale told by an idiot.
Of sound and fury.
An idiot. Signifying nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Nothing.
Woo! I like it. So that was great. Well done. I just thought, let's see, what's the time? Yeah, we've got 5 minutes left. It might be really funny for everybody who's still here to switch their cameras on, and for everybody to do their sound and movement, and so that we have a kind of group collage, even though we've got a speech from Midsummer Night's Dream as well as from Macbeth. That's okay. So let's just play with it and have a kind of concrete poetry collage. Okay. Whenever you are ready, and make sure you are unmuted, because I can see lots of red microphones. It might be a bit cacophonous, but it doesn't matter. Let's just see what happens.
Hermia.
Who is so bitter to me?
The tale told
Bitter
by
to
an
me.
idiot.
Sound and fury signifying nothing.
Signifying nothing.
Always love you, Hermia.
Signifies
Sound
nothing.
and fury
Signifying
nothing.
Always love you, Hermia.
It's so bitter to me.
Okay, well done.
You, Hermia.
That was really good. So yeah, I was just watching that and really enjoying it, and it's really nice because it's so hard to do this in a Zoom meeting, obviously, but putting them all together like that just immediately gave a whole atmosphere where you could hear individual phrases and words, and they were repeated in different ways by different people, with different movements. And that would make, you know, a great prologue for a scene, or just a moment in a scene to bring a speech to life. And it really does, it really shows how you can work in an ensemble way, despite the horrible challenges of trying to do it online. But when you get together with your students, you know, you could really make that work. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gives sort of different aspects of the speech, because everybody has their own interpretation. So it's really nice to see everybody's interpretation. So, oh, I could do it that way. Oh gosh, I never thought of that, sort of thing. Yeah.
I when I ran my theatre company called Tiebreak, we did a play which was called Love Bites, and it was about HIV and AIDS, and we were performing it to teenagers way back in the 80s and early 90s, you know, when HIV first became a big problem in the Western world. And we did something like 6 tours of it, because it was really needed by schools and youth clubs and so on, and it raised a lot of discussion. And by the time it came around to something like the 3rd production of it, I decided to get a guest director in, because I didn't want to direct the play yet again, you know. And we had different actors as well. And something that this guest director did really reminds me of what we just did. So before the play started, there were 4 actors, that's all, and he got them to take snippets from different scenes in the play, and they all interlocked in this kind of way that we have just done. So, you know, they could be from any moment in the play, and it really acted like a prologue. And it just meant, oh, you know, the audience were kind of watching that and thinking, oh, what's going on? It looks really interesting. We don't, you know, quite understand, but we can get a feeling of the story. And, you know, that might be another way that you could use this kind of device as something either in a scene or at the beginning of a play to give a taster. Okay, so any last remarks about that, or any other comments or questions? Okay, well, I hope it's been useful today. We've talked about quite a few different things, and I will look forward to seeing you next month. It was great that Patricia sent in her request for a topic, because, you know, it's great for me, because I don't like having to choose the topics each time. I would much rather they came from people, from your needs and your suggestions. So feel free, if you think of something for next time, just email me and we'll see what we can do. Thanks very much for joining, everybody, and see you soon.
Nice to see you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Take care. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye for
Bye,
now.
everyone.